it has indeed been an interesting short break, I should say, but I'm not going to get into detail to what we have discussed. But if you have missed out on former talks with Mr. Daniel Steinman, you can, of course, go to economist.com.na, where you will find our previous talks on the economy and in general, just very interesting conversation happening. But of course, Mr. Daniel Steinman, we are talking about liquidity today. And before we went on a break, you did promise our listeners that we will go into more detail in regards to... You may interfere.
Thank you, Elsie. I just want to point out regarding the talks, the way that we package them, because we have 3 sessions in every discussion. We have actually created a dedicated YouTube channel for them. And there are more than 180 podcasts on that channel now, that you can really, because we've been carrying on for more than a year, and because I'm very fond of taking the economy in cycles, in annual cycles, and discussing the relevant pertinent issues as they arise. So if you go listen to all the podcasts, you get a very good overview of the life, or 1 year in the life of the Namibian economy.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's very educational. But let's get back to liquidity. Now, remember, I said in 2017 liquidity was negative. So it means there's no available, I can't call it capital. There's very little potential in the banking system. And this has got to do with the nature of how money flows between the central bank and the commercial banks and the clients, you and I, or the companies. But I don't want to split hairs on those mechanisms, because it becomes very technical, too technical actually, and there are the market in Namibia of people who know how those mechanisms work or what the implications are is very small. We're talking about a handful of people, maybe 100 individuals who really understand these transmission mechanisms of value in the Namibian economy from the central bank, where liquidity is created. And you must tell the listeners I'm showing quotation marks, and through the commercial banks, who are the intermediaries, the channels, to the borrowers, the bank clients. So this is liquidity. Liquidity is an indication of how strong that current flows, that money current. Let's make it very simple. So see the money as a large river, and the banks dip. This river originates from the central bank, and the commercial banks dip into it, and they make it available in smaller containers to the people who are in need of credit. And that's certainly not me. But all businesses run on credit. I still want to come across the business without an overdraft. I think you get so used to having an overdraft, it doesn't keep you awake at night anymore.
Yeah, certainly.
So in 2017, negative liquidity. There's very little money in the system. The banks really have to rub and scrub to get something to keep the system going. This changes in 2018, 2019. It sort of normalizes, and in 2020, January, February, and until about the 23rd of March, things look good. And daily liquidity is in the region of about 3.5 billion to 4 billion. And then comes COVID, and liquidity evaporates again. Now, people ask me, but why? I mean, if you stay at home during COVID, you still have to eat. You still have to pay your mortgage. You still have to pay your car. You still have to put petrol in the tank, and you have to pay the children's school fees, and you have to pay for the groceries. So the fact that you're not economically active in the conventional sense, sitting in an office working for a company, doesn't mean that that you sort of arrest all living expenditure. You have to carry on with life.
Yeah.
You know, that's a basic fundamental fact. And it is true, but you have to remember, in COVID, many people lost their jobs. So now all of a sudden they are in serious trouble.
Yeah.
And many other people, thousands of individuals, had to take a pay cut, you know, or reduced hours or whatever, which had a direct impact on their income. So it's obvious that this must have a ripple effect, a wider effect in the economy. And it also again took about 6 months before you started seeing the effect. End of March, COVID started officially. April, May, June, July, August, from about September, you saw it. And liquidity, again, was very, very tight. And in the beginning of 2021, it started normalizing again, but we were still talking of daily liquidity of about 3 to 4 billion. The moment it went to 4.5 billion or 5 billion, remember now, this is the daily available value in the banking system. When it went to 5, it was regarded as loose, as high, as very good.
Yeah.
And then we thought, well, we are sort of coming back, in 2022, last year, from the impact in the COVID impact in 2020 and 2021. And we really thought we will gradually, liquidity will improve. And it did. Until this year.
Yeah.
And this year it really exploded.
It did?
It did. This year is where it went from 4.5 billion a day to 9 billion, 10 billion, 12 billion. But you didn't see that reflected in the economy. And this is the nice juicy bit that I've been saving for the last part of our talk.
Yeah. Where is it coming from? But I'm going to leave you with that question before you answer, Mr. Steinman. Let's quickly go for a short break and we'll be back after.